Welcome to this week's episode of Local Threads. I'm Molly, your host, and this week I'm sitting down with Chadi, aka the Sis Kebab, a local drag performer, producer, and makeup artist. This episode was recorded in early 2026, so please check the show notes for all of the mentioned shows and performers, and let's get into the episode.
You just said probably the most wrap up 2025 in one kind of statement sentence ever, which was, damn, so much has happened since we last talked. By the way, that was October.
Yeah.
And things, God, I mean, even just December was like crazy. It's like, take one of the worst years we've had in so long for everyone, for everything, and then just pack all the worst events into one year.
Also, Happy New Year? Question mark?
Happy New Year.
It feels really weird to even think that.
I know. I do want to say, just because I live in the area, I was very close to what happened. Thankfully, everyone I know is safe and was okay. But I do want to just give like a moment to recognize the Brown shooting that happened at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Again, because it's like, in a year of just so much strife and chaos, to end it off with something like that was really just like jarring, and it's almost uncomfortable how fast we moved on from it. I think was sort of a secondary whiplash I got.
Feels like it was 6 months ago, but it was in December, right?
Yes, it was in the like middle of December. I mean, I won't say too much about it because everything's already been said, but I definitely wanted to reference that. I think it's worth mentioning.
I think, but too, it's important to realize, like, it's easy to be apathetic right now, and it's understandable, but it's I try to be hopeful, even though how, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's just something that people forget. Like, you have to, in spite of it all, try to be hopeful, or you'll just disintegrate.
God knows. I mean, that's about it. It's like, and this is one way to segue, but I guess we'll do it anyway. I'm like trying to just do my nightlife thing as best I can. Like, at this point, it's been what's keeping me happy, drag and whatnot. I've been so grateful that I'm not just doing shows now, but I'm actually producing them myself.
Yeah.
Because it just is like, it really is, at the end of the day, it's like, damn, okay, we're all looking around and we're all wondering what the hell has happened in the past couple years that led us to this point.
Even though the writing was on the wall.
Even though the writing, and there were plenty of people along the lines telling us exactly what was going to happen, okay? Yeah. That I'm like, the one thing I am grateful for right now is that I, as a queer artist, can create spaces and events for other queer people to feel safe and have fun.
Yeah.
You know? That's, between my bi-monthly show I do with the Enigma Punk, follow her on Instagram. We do Get Punk together, and it's like, every single time we do it, we always tell our audience, like, we're really, really grateful that we're not just doing another drag show at another club. It's in a theater. We have a collective of artists that we always pull upon to like really make sure it's curated in a way that's like both impactful and also variety. Like, you get to see a lot of different types of art, which is really awesome. Like, one thing we do is we always have a band.
Really?
We've had, so one awesome thing I've been able to do in drag is, because of my good friend Jasmine, who's the front girl for a band called In Plain Sight. Follow them, their album's releasing soon. But she's the front girl for a band. We met in college. Very crazy coincidence, we met and we became instantly twin flames. I would do makeup for her music videos. Then she pivoted to being in a band, a punk band. And then one of the biggest things was we put together this little like underground sort of thing at Dorchester art project, put together by DJ Allseed, awesome guy. DJ Allseed, if you're watching this, I think about you always. You have my number.
Yeah.
DJ Allseed sticks usually within the hip hop crowd of things. And then Jasmine, being a punk girl, kind of stayed within like the underground punk scene of Boston. Then the collaboration of the two of them was really awesome because you had like this really good production, and then she pulled together all these awesome bands. And the cherry on top of all of it was she asked me if I could be the drag queen host.
Nice.
So before that, I was just doing here and there, like, the club if I could, open stages, whatever, you know. But I feel like really, once I did that, I got to meet so many other bands. The first and second time, then the third time I actually got to invite my friends Enigma and Data to the show to perform as well. And then we also met a bunch of awesome, cool people, cool punk queer people. So, long story short, through that event, I got to meet a ton of different awesome bands, and we still work with them to this day. JVK, I've done a lot of shows for them.
And that the Get Punk'd is in Taunton,
Yes, so
which
Get Punk.
that's not where I would expect drag to be happening.
No, nobody. We didn't expect it.
Yeah.
So we actually had other friends. They did theater in their youth at the Taunton Performing Arts Center. So they became a drag artist. They went back to that hometown gig and was like, "Hey, let's put together a drag show." They do a drag show there. It does what it does. Me and Enigma actually end up going. Uh, we ended up being booked for the show. So me and Enigma are there. We're kind of looking around and we're like, yo, this is a really nice spot. Like,
Yeah.
it's a really great place with awesome facilities. So, hey, it can't hurt to ask. We talked to the manager, or like the owner of the theater, and he's like, yeah, we're looking to add more. We're looking to branch out. The theater, they do a lot of like children's community theater, but also they have like a liquor license and the ability to do like adult cabaret stuff.
Oh, cool.
So they do have that as well. The drag show Get Punk'd that happens once every month at the Taunton Performing Arts Center. Ticket link is on available on the at Get Punk'd Live, the Instagram. It's at Get Punk'd Live, no punctuation or anything. As well as if you're watching this, you should already be following me. I'm the Sis Kebab. And then at that point, you always should also go follow enigma.punk.
Yeah, and I'll link everything in the show notes. And if they're listening,
Okay.
just tell me about your drag persona.
Sis Kebab, hot and juicy, sexy, spooky. Sis Kebab like, I don't know. I think it's both a persona as well as myself. Like, I always say, like, there's a level of trans identity within me that I can't deny, and I think that when I'm cis kebab, I always tell people like, when I'm cis kebab, that's a woman. That's a woman. You see, that's a woman who does drag, for all intents and purposes. So that's like me as far as like my relationship to my drag persona. But as far as like me myself, I obviously have an edge. I always say, for Sis Kebab, I always say pirates, supervillains, and vampires.
Love it.
Pirates, supervillains, and vampires. That's the trifecta that makes up Sis Kebab. And then of course, Arab glamour. I think means so much to me. I grew up like this is like one of my favorite things to say about my drag is I grew up going to like these big lavish like Lebanese weddings where I'd be watching my mom, my cousin, my aunt getting literally dragged up in lashes and beat foundation and hair extensions and buns and donuts and loops and twirls and all that stuff and nails and everything and big beautiful gowns. And I just was like a little gay boy running around the salon, like watching all that happen. Like I didn't stand a chance.
You're Palestinian as well, right?
Yes. So, of course, not as many nostalgic experiences of Palestine because I didn't really get to go until very recently.
You did get to go.
Because of diaspora, I didn't realize how much family I had out there until I was until literally like 2019. For the most part, I knew my dad had two brothers. One of them lived in Lebanon, and I used to see him all the time because we used to go to vacation in Lebanon. And then I knew he had another brother out in Israel, occupied Palestine. And now they all live in like the Israel part of the situation. They all lived there. Like my grandparents lived in Haifa in Palestine, had to flee because of everything. So some of them got out. A lot of the family stayed behind and just kind of like assimilated as best they can. To be completely honest, I don't know. It involved a lot of moving back and forth. It involved a lot of leaving the country for the time being, going back when it was safe enough to kind of figure out what they were doing, if they still had a home there. If not, I don't know. But as it is now, there's like Arab neighborhoods in Israeli cities, and it is extremely clear the level of apartheid going on. You go from one city to the next, one neighborhood to the next, and it is immediately abundantly clear what side is the Israeli side and what side is the Arab side for all intents and purposes. So that was like it was jarring because it's like you're in like what could just be an American city,
Yeah.
and then you drive down the street and it all of a sudden looks like a developing country, which is what a lot of the Middle East looks like, unfortunately. Um, but that was just it was very jarring. That was one trip I took, and then I went back there again once, just for some weddings and stuff. But getting to meet that side of my family, hear their stories, talk about all the different conflicts that they've seen in their own lifetime, really, really fueled my passion for so many things. My mother talk about controversial characters. No, I'm kidding. I love her to death. We've been through it all, and we're back out the other end, and it's
That's
all
good.
it is really great. It is. Thank
Does
you.
she go to your drag
No.
shows?
So cross dressing is the one thing I haven't told her I do because
Oh.
she don't even know what that is.
Mhm.
She's old world Arab. She's fresh off the boat immigrant. My dad traveled the world. So he's an immigrant too, but like he traveled the world. He knew like he was in a band once. He fought in war. He went to college. Literally everything my dad has done. So he knows what a drag queen is. He knows what I do. And mainly I told him that just because I've been unemployed for a really long time. So I kind of wanted to be like, look, I'm not just like wasting away. Actually, like there's a lot of really good stuff happening for me. So that's what I told him. But my mom, she knows I do makeup. She knows I'm a makeup artist. She knows basically everything but the fact that I cross dress. Um Now she okay, so racism in America versus racism everywhere else.
Mhm.
Racism in America is racism 2.0. And people don't realize that. Racism in America is another beast. Everywhere else, it's color of your skin. It's simple.
Yeah.
Color of your skin. Are you darker? Whatever, you're shunned. Are you lighter? Great, you're put on magazines. And my mom kind of came over with that idea. A lot of immigrants do. A lot of immigrants will come over and they'll be like, they'll almost align themselves with the ideas of the bigoted white people. And there's a lot of times where I have to remind her and go, Mom, they don't see you. Just because you're a fair-skinned person, she's about as tan as you are. Like she's not super dark. Just because you're a fair-skinned person who has Caucasian features, they don't see that. They don't care. You speak, they hear your accent, they write you off completely. As soon as they hear your broken English, gone. And even one time, it was back when she wasn't super accepting of me being queer. There was a moment where I was out like with a school group and the question of like dorming had come up. So I was like, okay, like I don't really want to dorm with another guy, like whatever. Like if like I have all my like girlfriends, like I want to dorm with them, but they were like, well, we can't do that, so we're just gonna put you in a room alone. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then like my mom's picking me up from the trip and she's asking me about it, and I tell her that situation, and she's like, and again, she's so much better about this now, but she was like, it's so embarrassing that you would tell people you're gay. And I kind of stopped for a moment, and this was literally this was right before 29. This is 2019, so um like height of like Trump era, and I kind of just stopped and I was like, Mom, people are way more afraid of Arabs than they are queer people in this country.
Mhm.
That's all I said, and she studied the road for the rest of our trip, the rest of our drive. She was just eyes on the road, silent. Because it's like, it's true. As a queer person, I have community here. I mean, even with within the own queer community, there are no Arabs. There's zero, which is to say there are 3 total. And I'll tell you literally who they are right now. Andy Van Dyke, love them. Ramona Banshee, love her. And Fufula Fool is another one I just met. And then there's a few other, there's like Majnoon. There's a handful of creative. And I'll tell you, the only reason I've ever even met these people is because of a show that we all do together called Spill the Shy. Segue. Spill the Shy is this, we use the term Swana, Southwest Asian, North African. Middle East is basically just a super Eurocentric word
Yes.
because it's in relation to Europe,
Yeah.
middle of the East, right?
Yeah.
So we've adopted the term Swana, which is just a little bit more representative of that whole swath Arab culture, which is good too because we end up having a lot of African talent and a lot of Indian or Pakistani talent as well. So we kind of get like a broader range. But that show heals my heart, and it was in part created because I would do belly dancing and drag. There were nights where I would do old Arab songs, Kulthum, Fairuz, if anyone catches those references. And I would do belly dancing, and I would get up and extra, like normally I'm looking crazy and punky, but like for those nights I get really glam. Spill the Shy happens alternatively, so it happens twice a year, and we do one in Boston at Jacques, which is always sold out. Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, the Boston. So we do one in Jacques once a year, and then we do one in now Alchemy, because it used to be Askew, but then Askew shut down. I personally like Spill the Shy is one of these shows too. There's two crowds of people. I always say it's the gays and then the queers. When I do Ego nightclub on a Thursday night, that's the gays. That's the college kids. This isn't a new thought. This isn't a unique thing. We know this. This is the case. It's a more commercial crowd. It's the crowd that wants you to do Dua Lipa type. I do those gigs. I get money for those gigs. I like those gigs because I like drag, but that's about it. After that, whenever I get to work with more alternative queer artists, I find that those always bring in that kind of crowd as well. So much more appreciative of those kinds of crowds. They generally do not have the same buying power. They generally do not tip as well.
Yes, if you go to a drag show, tip your drag queen.
Of course. But here's the thing. A lot of those people out there, underprivileged, they can't.
Exactly.
I don't care.
That's true.
I don't care because I love them.
But if you got it, bring it.
Of course. And I love, the few of us who have made it out and are queer but living a nice life with a 6-figure salary and they come to the drag show and treat everyone. We love you. We thank you. You're keeping us alive. But those more alternative underground sort of like niche audiences, those are the ones I love performing for. Those are the ones that I feel like I'm getting something back,
So how many times a month are you performing?
So it's funny because it sounds like I do a lot, but I guess a lot of them are all like a few times a year. So in a busy month, I don't really let myself have more than like 6 gigs. Just because I know myself and I'm very much quality over quantity.
You need to be doing that.
We could all learn a lesson about that.
Yeah.
I fear a lot of drag queens kind of come out, and I think because they're trying to just do like the drag race thing, they're just like, gig every single time, sparkly bodysuit, pop number, go, 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 go. Week after week, day after day, same numbers, same bodysuits, same gigs. I'm like, okay, that works for some people. That works for some people. And you're going to get money from some people, the brunch crowd, right? I'm just not as commercial of an artist like that. I'm just not. I really, I guess in the most pretentious way, because there's no way to not sound pretentious about this, I do it for the art. First of all, no, I hate this idea. I'm going to call it out right now. Make this a clip. Make this a viral moment. When did we ever get in drag to get money? When did we ever become convinced that being in drag was gonna be our bread and butter?
It's one of those, the wig, the outfit, the choreo, learning how to do all of that if you don't have the money to pay for someone to do it.
And then I find out that there's some queens who are like, yeah, I just got it because like I needed a couple extra bucks, and I'm like, well, that's the worst way to do it, and that's why you hate yourself and you hate drag, because you're sitting there trying to make it your bread and butter. You're trying to basically turn something that is a labor of love. And I mean a labor of love. Like you have to love it, and it is laborious in nature. And you're trying to turn that into your 9 to 5 or like get gayness off of it. Like, oh my God, like I'm going to be the only girl making all this money and all this tips. And I'm like, no, you're already doing it. You're doing it for the wrong reason. And I don't have to say anything because 9 times out of 10, those queens burn out fast and find themselves being like, oh, you know what? And then they end up with awful opinions about drag. They end up being jaded. They end up saying all these awful things. And I'm like, maybe if you actually respected your craft, maybe if when you actually got in drag and you put on a look, you were able to look at that top to bottom and go, this is something I've created. A lot of these drag queens are, again, this is not a unique thought, cookie cutter. Cookie cutter. A cast needs to be filled with a lot more than just one of the same queen. Like, where's the alt queens? Where's the kings? First of all, where's the drag kings? Where are the drag kings? Can we please like
Yeah.
have more of that, please? Like, and then whenever we do get punked, it's like we always try to book drag kings, and we've been lucky to be able to book plenty of drag kings in our time. And every single time, it's extremely clear that they're just putting a level of effort that is above and beyond any sparkly dance costume, and it's always a concept. It's always it's always that focus on quality over quantity.
When did you first start doing drag?
God, please keep asking me about me because somehow I'm not talking about me, and that's scaring me.
Yeah.
I keep talking about other people. Stop it. I started doing drag in 2019. Now, makeup I started doing a little bit before that, and I was like doing makeup. I was like a bedroom queen before bedroom queens were a thing because I was a bedroom queen before the pandemic.
Mhm.
So, 1,000,001 bedroom queens were born from the pandemic. I was doing crumbly, crotchety, real bad drag in my bedroom. And then the photos are online. I'm not gonna help y'all find them. But they are online. They are available for your viewing pleasure if you do find them.
Just photos or videos?
Photos, because I was just in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I was fully bedroom queened out. Pandemic happened, and then I was just like, all right, I got nothing else to do other than become a professional makeup artist, and I did. So that was kind of that, and then towards the end of it, I moved out to Providence, and then I landed my first gig, which was a bar competition called Providence Drag Gauntlet.
Okay.
Drag Gauntlet, they've done it in Boston, they've done it for a bunch of years, they do it in Worcester too. It's run by this person named Candy Dish,
I love that name.
Candy Dish, it's cute, no, I like her.
I feel like I would be Ashtray.
There is an ashtray. There's several ashtrays, but one of
that's
them's
not
out in
unique.
Connecticut. No, I know, but then it's a cute one. So then I started doing that competition, and that was really cool. So quite a start I had because it was my first ever performance in drag, and my track record for that competition was night one, or like week one, I won. Week two, I won again. Week three, I was in the top two. And then week four, I got eliminated.
Oh no.
So I literally think it was perfect because the next week was going to be a design challenge and I was going to embarrass myself. At least when I got eliminated with some dignity because I did well. It was just everyone else did better. But the next week would have been a design challenge, and I would have absolutely showed, because at this point I was still making like a first impression on everyone, and they would have all been like, "This woman needs to get off the stage."
But how scared were you though? Were you scared?
I've done theater all my life.
Oh, okay.
I've done theater all my life. So when you performed, like when you've done that, and that's the thing too, is drag is so much less rehearsing. I think the cool thing about drag is, like people say about drag, all of the work is done before you get to the stage. A drag queen's work is all backstage. Once you get to the stage, it's maximum 4 minutes, and usually it's improv. You just have to get there and look how you want to look and get your props how you want them and all that stuff. So for me, it was like the week leading up, I was just working on my outfit, blah, blah, blah. But I've been a dancer for longer than I've been a makeup artist. I had a basement growing up that was furnished, and it was an open space that I was alone in all the time. So I basically grew up on Beyonce's B-Day. That album turned me into the dancer I am today, because whether I was feeling happy or sad or anything, like that was my outlet as a kid, was dancing. I would just put on music on blast. It was either like Beyonce's B-Day, Rihanna's Good Girl Gone Bad, that one, Police, Hello, Who in the Chat, Dangerous Woman, Ariana Grande. Oh my God. Those 3 albums turned me into the dancer I am today. I would just start at the top of one and just go for hours, and just like until I was literally like panting. So all that kind of came to be that when it came time to like start putting the makeup and the dance and figure out what I could do with it, drag kind of just was like, here you go.
Yeah.
Like, it was really just like, you know, I love production. Like, one of my favorite things about my drag career currently is that I'm involved in production. We do get Punk'd basically for free.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we don't make barely any money off
And
of
that's
Get Punk'd.
true with every form of art, and it's so unfortunate.
It is. It is. But again, that's what I'm saying, though. It's a level of realism you have to have. It
Yeah.
sucks that we can't all make $1 million off of drag, doing
But
drag
God,
full
it's so
time.
fun.
But God, it's so fun, and that's why you can't do it like you're trying to make money. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. If
exactly.
you try to do it like you're gonna make money off of it, you're gonna hate yourself
Yeah.
and drag.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want to quit. You're gonna quit 7 times, and then every year you're gonna quit again, and everyone's gonna be like, "Didn't you just quit last year?" And you're gonna be like, "Nope, but this is the one."
It's my year.
Girl, be honest with yourself. Do less drag, or if you want to do it in your living room or something. Take pictures and then chill. Like, just appreciate what it is
Mhm.
for what it is. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just love myself so much that I'm able to say that I'm able to just love my drag for what it is.
Yeah.
But
I
at the end
think
of the day, yeah.
all art, if you don't love it first,
Yeah. Then what the
then
hell?
for one, you're gonna be creating just to get the money, right? You're not gonna be creating from, like, a perspective that people would rather see anyway.
So there's this whole discourse right now of uh gay boy, 20 something gay boy, pick up the weights or the wig, right? Everyone on the internet knows what I'm talking about. You pick up the weights or you pick up the wig. That's the new discourse. And now I'm not the first person to say that that might be rooted in fascism,
Yeah.
because it's literally like,
binary.
it's a binary. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. It's telling you you can't just be, you have to be a big brawly, or you have to be a glitzy, glamorous drag queen slash. So everyone wants to either be a performer or be a big brawly man.
Yeah.
Now these big masculine men, they wouldn't find themselves dead at a drag show. Well, I'm not like, oh, I'm a gay. I'm gonna cruise around the gyms and blah blah blah, or they're cruising around the clubs. So you have like all the men are doing that, and all the little twinks and gay boys become drag queens. Who's tipping?
Yeah.
Who's tipping? Who is left to just be a gay man at the bar, being a gay man, loving drag queens and gay men? There's no more gay man middle class. Like, they're all going one way or the other, and nobody's left in the audience to tip.
Yeah.
Like, that used to be that Palm Springs old gay with all the money and a little teacup dog that didn't do drag and did not go to the gym and
Is
did not
Dana-
run that P-Town gay. We're losing it.
Mhm.
We're losing it. Everyone's picking up the weights of the wig. Who is left to tip?
It's okay to just
Just be
down.
prissy and put on makeup, but you don't have to go full trans. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You can just be a gay man. It's all right.
I think the whole, like, and this goes across all topics, whether it's niching down your art
Mm.
to the fact that, like, if you like to paint, that's all you can do, and you better not show me anything else. If I like your paintings, don't show me that you like to sew.
Yeah.
Like, the world is not this.
Well, nuance is dead.
Yeah,
Nuance is dead.
we're bringing it back.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
It's back.
We're bringing it back. And through things like having different types of viewpoints on your podcast,
Yeah.
having maybe people of the same demographic that look at it differently,
Yeah.
because there's a million ways to be queer. There's a million ways to be a content creator. There's a million ways to be a good person. There's a million ways to be a bad person.
Yeah.
Either way, nuance is dead.
Whoever's on the fucking internet, TikTok, with their, like, little takes about, if you're doing this and you're not doing that, then you're a piece of shit.
You literally brought up something I've never thought about before. Hot take culture.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's fucking ruining
It's
everything.
real. It's real, and you're so real for that.
Literally to the discourse that's happening on the internet right now.
And again, it's very
it's disruptive.
absolute. It's
Yeah,
absolutism.
you can't talk in absolutes because it's just not reality.
I will say, I studied political science for about 2 years in college, and I actually always say that that's what radicalized me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there. I started college in 2019, so it was right about at the end of towards the end of Trump won, and I'm learning, like, I'm in my government and civics classes, and they're telling us all about, like, Here's how everything works. Also, here's a live example right now of how it's all being burned down in front of your eyes.
Mhm.
By the way, paper due next week.
Yeah.
I dropped out.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm literally losing faith in the system I'm learning about as I'm learning about it.
Yeah.
So I genuinely was like, this radicalized
So
me. So that kind of happened. And then I found through drag, like, I have been able to touch a lot more people. I've been able to connect with a lot more people saying what I want to say on stage in a club in drag than I would ever as a political figure.
yeah.
Straight up. We're we're built with the idea to not trust politicians.
Mhm.
And I don't blame anyone for that. So that was kind of where I really broke off and where I became like punk. Cause I think it was like along that lines of like gaining class consciousness, I almost started to see it in drag just as fiercely. And it was like, oh God, we can't even as drag queens and trans people dressing up in costumes and dancing around to fun songs, we still can't break ourselves free from the rules of class so like the rules of class social equity. I don't know, just like the unspoken rules of whatever. Like these are the classy queens that do the classy things, that do classy numbers for classy people. These are the trash queens that do trash things for trashy people. And it's like immediately you're like, whoa, so we created this whole world just to what, put more rules on ourselves? What? So through my drag, I have raised money for different causes. One of my biggest highlights is that I hosted a show where we raised over $3,000 for different Palestinian charities. And this was in the wake of October 7th. So this was like within that same year. I have to remind myself that like there was a there was a genuine shift in American consciousness that for a long amount of time, people genuinely thought that because of where I'm from, that I'm not as much of a human being, that I'm not deserving of the same kindness or the same sympathy that people across the border do from my people.
Mhm.
And it was like an inundation of article after article, celebrity after celebrity, just proudly and boldly saying, Palestinians are barbarians, they're terrorists, they want to blow up, they blow up their children for fun. Now, that's not to say that stuff wasn't already there, but again, it wasn't on the top of public consciousness, so it wasn't talked about. Everyone was just like, oh no, we like Israel, that's just America and the Middle East, we don't think about it further. October 7th happens, and now all of a sudden everyone has a reason to like love Israel and hate Palestine, or rather hate Arabs. Um, and one thing I learned is the eagerness of the American white person
Mhm.
to hate Arabs,
To not even know why
to not even
either.
know why,
Not even question.
not even know why.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and that's what's so different. So at the end of the day, what ends up happening, you have Arabs who come here and are anti-immigration. And you're like, how does that work out? Well, because they don't realize that the immigration that crippled their country is not what's happening in America. It is very, very much a different situation. What happened that, you know, created a big exodus of immigrants that, and now in more recent years, actually, Syria, same thing did to Lebanon. And again, it crippled Lebanon's economy again. And so again, you have all these Lebanese people who are either diaspora or still live there or whatever, but are definitely like on the top, like the top end of things that will look down on immigration. When I can, I do try to explain, like, it's not the same. At the end of the day, someone going from South America to America, it's just not the same as a family of Palestinians fleeing their country to come to because they have nowhere else to go. So it's like it's not the same arena. And so when you have these people, they come over and they all of a sudden say these things that are like very much like these people are. One thing I notice, people from other countries will be a lot more globalist or humanist than the average American. Straight up.
Okay, we've been talking for 2 hours, and I gotta edit this thing.
I know. And I could keep going.
Me too.
Have me back.
I will.
Oh my gosh. And maybe we can even like have actual topics next time.
Yeah. My bad.
No, you're fine. Please. I kind of came in, I was like, look, drag, politics, and just general fuckery.
So let's wrap it up with everything you've got going on.
Yes. So 26 is a big year for me. Unless you're my parents and you want me to get a job. So 26 is a big year for me. We have Get Punk'd is now on its third full year.
Yay.
Our baby's 3 years old, 2.5 now currently. Um, so first one of the year is going to be February. Check the Instagram at Get Punk'd Live. I'm pretty sure it's February 19th. I said,
Yeah.
is it Thursday? Thursday, February 19th.
Taunton.
In Taunton at the TPAC, the TPAC. Then the next thing I have coming up shortly after that, April 16th, is the Blazing Beauties drag pageant, which is going to be co-produced by me and my good friend Nervous. Nervous takes the cake for it. It was a show in the beginning. I just tagged along. But we're producing that right now, and it's been really, really awesome, very fun. A little bit of a headache, but it's what makes the job feel good. So the Blazing Beauties pageant, that's going to be April 16th. Watch out for that one. We don't have an Instagram for it, but you can follow me at the Siskabob, or you can, of course, follow at nervous.drag. Then the third endeavor I have going on, I don't know, this one's a little bit more local, but we're starting up a regular sort of residency at the East End Whiskey Bar. It's a super cute place in Wickenden Street. It's a very classy sort of like bistro, whiskey bar and bistro type of deal. Check it out, East End PVD on Instagram. We're gonna be taking that over. Me and Enigma, we're gonna start doing monthly and weekly drag shows there. Just gonna be really fun. And then finally, last thing, keep an eye out for Spill the Shy. I always have to shout that out. It's not my show personally, but Andy and Ramona have made me feel so much a part of it. Borderline telling me that I was part of the reason for the show's being, as just being a queer Arab and doing drag with Arabic music. Belly dancing is kind of what inspired them to put the show together. So I've always been super grateful to be like a de facto part of that family. So Spill the Shy, keep an eye out for that one. That one also does have an Instagram, Shy Drag. So you can follow that and see when that next show is going to be. I can outro you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do an outro. That was this episode of Local Threads. Stay tuned for the next one and keep an eye out on any awesome local shows, local art you can see. Always try to support your local creatives and local artists, and stay tuned for the next one.
And remember, art is political.
Yes.
Period.